जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो गोपी जन वल्लभ जयो गिरिवरधारी जयो गिरिवरधारी जयो गोपी जन वल्लभ जयो गिरिवरधारी जयो गिरिवरधारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव जयो कुंज बिहारी नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Emma, can you lead the kirtan? I have an important call to take.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jai Sachidandan Jai Sachidandan Gaur Hari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Radha Madhava गौर हरि जय गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शना जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल 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 हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय
जय
श्रीला प्रभुपाद की
जय
महाराज की जय
जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 बोल जय जय श्री राधे श्याम. Okay, so page number 1 of your Bhagavad Gitas. Let's read the Mangala Charan. You can run your finger on the verse as I speak, then it will be very easy for you to pick it up. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya. Page number 1. Yeah.
ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य
Jnananjanashalakaya
ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया
Chakshurunmilitam yena
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः.
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं
Papitam yena bhutale
स्थापितं येन भूतले
Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam
स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं
Dadati Swapadantikam
ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं.
Vandeham
वन्देऽहं
Shri Guru
श्रीगुरु
Shri Yuta Padakamalam
श्रीयुतपदकमलं
Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha
श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च
Shri Rupam Sagrajatam
श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं
Sahagana Raghunathanvitam
सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं
Tam Sajivam
तं सजीवं
Sadvaitam Savadhutam
साद्वैतं सावधूतं
Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam
परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं
Shri Radha Krishna Padan
श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान्
Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha
सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च.
He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु
Deenabandhu Jagatpate
दीनबंधु जगतपते
Gopesh Gopika Kanta
गोपेश गोपिका कांता
Radha Kanta Namostute
राधा कांता नमोस्तुते.
Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi
तप्त कांचन गौरांगी
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी
Rishabhanusute Devi
वृषभानुसुते देवी
Pranamami Hari Priye
प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये.
Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च
Patitanam Pavanebhyo
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
वैष्णवेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु नित्यानंद
प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय
जय, गुरु महाराज की
जय।
जय। Okay, so welcome everyone to Gita class. We've done till verses 2.41 last week, and we saw what is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. There was a lot of stress in the previous verse, where Vyavasayatmika means resolute, determined, single-pointed focus in Krishna consciousness, page 113. And avyavasainam means those who are not fixed. So Krishna is telling Arjun that only by single pointed focus can you hope to gain Krishna consciousness. But those who are avyavasainam means they are not resolute or determined, they are bahushakha. Their intelligence and effort is many branched. They will be jack of all trades, master of none. So he's advising him to follow Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So let's see what he says further to Krishna. Varsha, can I request you to say the words?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
41, right? No, 42.
42, 43 together.
Yami mama
Just a minute. I think Meetu is having trouble finding the verse. Meetu, have you found it? No. Page 115. Chapter 2.
But my page 115.
Okay, then let's not go by pages. Just go to chapter 2, verse 42.
Like mine is page 129 because mine is an old.
Yeah, because in my version it is.
Okay, 129. Try 129.
So we are looking at verse
42, 43. Have you found it? Chapter 2, verse 42, 43. Yami Mam.
Yes.
All right. Okay, Varsha.
Yami mam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipashita vadarta partha nanya dasti tivadina kamatman swargapara janma karma fal pradam kriya vishesha bahulama bhogeshwargya gatim prati. I hope it's fine.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Translation.
Men of small knowledge are very much affected to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this.
Okay. So, in this verse, 42, yeah. For the first time, Krishna is mentioning Vedas in this verse. Up till now, he has not talked about the Vedas. He's just talking about life and the practical application of life. But the first time that he's mentioning Vedas to Arjun. And he's telling Arjun that you give up your karma kandi mentality or the idea of using the Vedas for many sacrifices. Now, why this is significant is if you just see the previous verse 2.37, when we did previously, what he's telling Arjun in 2.37 is, O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. So remember, we did this verse where he says, Uttisht, Uttisht Arjun, get up and fight. And he's telling him, if you do that, you will get the heavenly planets. You will attain the heavenly planets if you are killed on the battlefield. So that's a part of the Karma Kandi Vedas. So there he's recommending the Karma Kandi Vedas to him. And now, so many verses later in 42, he's actually telling him to give up the flowery language of the Vedas. Why is that? He is now rising him at a higher level. He's now bringing him to Buddhi Yoga. He's bringing him to a higher philosophy of life. Earlier, Arjun was talking about running away from the battlefield, which means running away from his duty and responsibility. So to engage him, he was trying to entice him by giving him the enticement of the Vedas, the flowery language of the Vedas. However, now that Arjun is listening to him and is going along with his line of thought, he's now trying to raise him to a higher level. So, what do we mean by Karmakand? What are the Vedas? What do our Vedas contain? They contain a lot of sacrifices, a lot of rituals. All our Vedas are full of. And what are those rituals aimed at? Pleasing the various demigods, pleasing the various Devi Devtas who are in charge of the various benedictions, the various fruits. However, these are temporary fruits. So what are these temporary fruits? Good sons, good children, health, power, wealth, longevity, good job, success in the job, a bountiful harvest, because peasants, mostly people were peasants, or even higher than that, heavenly planets, Swargalok. However, now Krishna is condemning all of this. Although previously he was encouraging Arjun to fight to obtain Swargalok, to obtain the heavenly planets. But now he is telling him, men of small knowledge are attached to this. O Arjun, people of less intelligence are attached to this, or people who are in ignorance are attached to these kind of benefits. But these benefits are temporary. They will finish with your body, with your life, with this earth. Rise above this dual nature of the world and enter into the absolute world. Why? Then you will be happy. Then there will be happiness. So, even on this earth, some are very eager to have Somaras, Prabhupada says, and become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratification. But these people have no faith in liberation from material bondage. And they are very much attached to the pompous ceremonies of Vedic sacrifices. They are generally sensual and they do not want anything other than the heavenly pleasures of life. It is understood that there are gardens called Nandan Kanan, in which there is a very good opportunity for association with angelic, beautiful women and having a profuse supply of Somaras wine. Such bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to such material, temporary happiness as lords of the material world. So, through this, Krishna is trying to tell him that instead of being atheistic or instead of running away from your duties, surely it's better to engage in karmakand, to engage in some rituals or some Vedic sacrifices to get some temporary benefits. But higher than that is Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Why? Because the results of Bhakti Yoga are permanent, whereas the results of Karmakand are temporary. So you will get a temporary relief. And what kind of a temporary relief? We did this example in the Bhagavatam. This example comes. Formerly, kings used to punish the culprits or the offenders, law offenders, by a particular kind of torture. Even now it's used in the US. It's called waterboarding currently. But even in the Vedic times it was used. They would take the prisoner and they would dunk his head into water. And they would keep him dunked in water till he's almost breathless and about to give up his life. And when he's completely almost lifeless and limp, then they bring his head out again. And for a few moments, they allow him to suck in the air and breathe in the air. And when he's restored back to his normal breath, again they dunk his head in water. This is called waterboarding. So the Karmakandi rituals that we do by following the Vedas for getting some paltry benefit in return is like this dunking of the head in water. So you are wallowing in your problems, in your miseries, and then you come across some Karmakandi activity. You follow the Vedas and you follow them only to get a result of your choice. That's like your head has come out of water and you are getting some sips of fresh breath. And then you're feeling nice. That's a temporary, momentary feeling of happiness. You're feeling nice because earlier you were miserable and now you are getting, to breathe nicely for some time. So you're feeling nice about it. But then it's short-lived. Within no time, the next set of misery is going to come back to you. Again, your head is dunked in water. This is the current life, the life of illusion. This is what our life is. We do not have any permanent or real lasting happiness here. However, because we taste unhappiness, so compared to that, when there is the unhappiness is absent, we feel that we are happy. This is an illusion that we are in. That we feel we are happy just because our current unhappiness state is taken care of. But shortly afterwards, the next set of miseries come upon us. And then we become unhappy again. And then all our effort, time, money is put into fixing that problem. And when that problem gets fixed, you feel again momentarily happy. And then your next set of problem comes. This is a never-ending chain. And then finally, the final problem comes, which has no repair. What is that? Yes, Anjali?
Death.
Yes. How would you fix that problem? Finally, there is no living happily ever after, isn't it? There is the end waiting for all of us. And that is also not palatable to us. Hence, one who wants permanent happiness and who wants liberation from this death, this greatest problem and disease called death, should, Krishna is saying, O Arjun, follow Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. It's only men of small intelligence who refer to the Vedas for these fruitive activities like elevation to the heavenly planets, because the heaven itself is not permanent. The heavens also get disillusioned or dissolved when there is cosmic annihilation. So why would you want to go from one temporary place to another temporary place? Okay? So let's go to the next verse. Verse 44. Varsha?
One moment, okay.
Yeah.
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तपायत चेतसां व्यवसायित्मका बुद्धि समाधो न विधीयते. In
Translation.
the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place.
So this word vyavasayatmika buddhi is coming again. Just now in verse 41, Krishna is mentioning the same term, vyavasayatmika buddhi. What is vyavasayatmika? Resolute or fixed in God consciousness, serious about your God consciousness, serious about your spiritual life. And now in 44, again he's saying, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, the resolute determination, vyavasayatmika buddhi, for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So it is so important to have a fixed mind. If you are too attached to enjoyment, sense enjoyment or sense gratification, and if that's the goal of your life, despite all good advice and good counsel, such people will never be attracted to God consciousness. And as a result, they will always be in misery of some kind or the other. It's very difficult to save them. So, Karmakandis cannot fix their minds on the Supreme. And they use the Vedas as an excuse. People who are so attached to results. I did this, I have to get something in return for this. मैंने आपको हे भगवान, आप मेरा ये काम पूरा कर दो, मैं आपको ये चढ़ाऊंगा, मैं आपका मंदिर बनवा दूंगा, मैं आपके लिए ये कर दूंगा, मैं भोज रख दूंगा, मैं ये कर दूंगा, वो कर दूंगा. This is a business deal. This is not devotion. One is so attached to enjoying the results of their activities that they strike a business deal even with the Supreme Lord. Such people can never come to Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. They will always be at the Karmakandi level. Now, the nature of the mind is always agitated. So, if we artificially give more agitation to the mind by sense enjoyment, can we ever really become fixed? How else will we get Vyavasayatmika Buddhi if we indulge in sense enjoyment all the time? So, what is a fixed mind? That is Samadhi. When the mind is fixed for understanding yourself, it is said to be in Samadhi, but Samadhi is never possible for people who are too attached to sense enjoyment. This is what Krishna is telling. So, more or less, they are condemned by the process of material energy. They will forever be going up and down and up and down, like a man who's drowning in the ocean. His head also bobs, isn't it? A drowning man always comes up naturally by the force of the waves. Before he completely drowns, he will come up 4, 5 times, so 5, 6 times. He'll come up, again he will get a gasp of air, again he'll go down, again he'll come up, again he'll go down. So he's in a miserable state, and this is the condition of all of us in this material world. Because we are always going through misery, happiness, distress, happiness. But unfortunately, both are temporary. Neither does happiness does not stay with us permanently. So Krishna is saying that if you really want lasting happiness and peace of your mind and give rest to this agitation in your mind, O Arjun, then rise to the Samadhi level. What is Samadhi? Samadhi is nothing but a fixed mind, a sthir mind, a calm mind, a focused mind. Vyavasayatmika buddhi is Samadhi. It does not necessarily mean that you have to sit in Padmasana with your eyes half closed, looking at the tip of your nose. That's yoga. That's your yogic posture. That is try to attain samadhi through the bodily yogic exercises. But the real yoga of the mind is to not indulge in sense gratification, overly attached to sense gratification. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that one who is Vijnanataha means in complete knowledge of the Vedic purpose, he only has to perform Buddhi Yoga for the Lord's pleasure. Because Buddhi Yoga satisfies all the purposes behind all the 4 Vedas. But Karmakand rituals then become unnecessary. There's no need to follow any Karmakandi rituals when you are at the level of Buddhi Yoga. Because all the desires and pleasures are satisfied once you come to Buddhi Yoga. So, because Krishna has explained several alternative levels of activity to Arjun, now in the next verse, he is going to explain the specific level exactly on which Arjun is qualified to act. Because Arjun is a Kshatriya, according to his nature now, Krishna is going to suggest to him what exactly he should be doing. So, even if someone is a Karmakandi, but if he performs Buddhi Yoga, he will become purified. Why? Because of Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi. So Buddhi Yoga and Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi are actually interconnected. Those who practice Buddhi Yoga automatically get Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi, single pointed focus or determination or perseverance automatically comes by practicing Buddhi Yoga. Okay? So can we have the next verse, Varsha?
Yeah. Traigunya Vishya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nirdantyo Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the 3 modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these 3 modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self.
Okay. So Krishna instructs Arjun to rise above the fruitive performance of duty. Because Arjun is saying, what was Arjun's logic? That if I don't fight, then these people, I will not have to kill these people. And then I will at least will get the heavenly planets to enjoy because I did not kill them and I did not kill the future dynasty of this kingdom. But Krishna is saying that rather than fighting to gain heavenly pleasures, he should be established in self-realization. The higher goal of life is not what people will say or what benefit you will get in doing this activity. But what is the higher purpose of life? It is to get fixed in self-realization, which means it is to perform bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga or simply loving devotional service to the Lord in love and affection. So because previously Arjuna had reasoned that destroying family traditions would also end the performance of karmakandi rituals. But Krishna defeats that argument and he tells him, you rise above these rituals now. Stop thinking always on the rituals, from the rituals point of view. Which are, why? Because these rituals are also governed by Traigunya, by these 3 modes of Sattva, Rajo and Tamo. So our rituals, whatever we are performing, whatever sacrifices we are performing, whatever religious activities we are performing, they also come under the control of the 3 modes of material nature. So they are contaminated. So they cannot give you permanent results. As long as the material body exists, there will always be actions and reactions. But when one learns to tolerate them and become equipoised in happiness and distress, in hot and cold, and once you start tolerating such dualities, automatically you become free from anxieties regarding gain and loss. Neither does gain make you elevated or super happy, nor does loss make you sad. And this position is achieved in Krishna consciousness. So this is what Krishna is trying to tell him, that the Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature, O Arjun. So please become transcendental to these three modes. As long as you are under the control of these three Devis, Sattvagun, Rajagun and Tamogun, you are always going to be in anxiety. So be free from all these anxieties. Rise above these levels. And then you will be able to make decisions clearly. It's like rising above the clouds of confusion. So when there is a clear sky, then with a clear mind, you can make the right decisions. Okay. 46.
Somebody else wants to read it? Or?
Vanita?
You can read, Varsha.
Vanita?
Yes, yes, Anjali.
Is there any reason, I mean, verse 42, 43 combined क्यों है? या कि ऐसे?
Yeah, so Prabhupada has combined them because they are both saying the same thing. So when the concept is the same, he combines them and there is a combined translation, as you can see.
Okay.
Because both of them are talking about Karmatmana Sargapara. That's why. इससे पहले भी आया है in chapter 1
Yes.
and earlier also he has
Yes.
combined. When the 2-3 verses are talking about the same topic, he combines them.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
The kind of rituals that we do in our daily pujas, like Aarti, Abhishek, even in temples, everywhere we do Abhishek karte hain, vrat karte hain, fasting karte hain. Aren't these all a part of Karma Kand?
Yes, they are. Again, what is Karma Kand? It's a consciousness, right? Lighting a lamp with which feeling or with which intention, with which desire makes all the difference. So you may be offering a lamp to Lord Krishna. At the same time, you may also be offering a lamp to all the other Devi Devtas. But then in Karma Kand, you are doing it for a specific desire. Oh Lord, like the Christians go to the church and pray, oh Lord, give us today our daily bread. So this means they are being trained to think that you have to go to church to pray for your bread, daily bread. So the fault in this system is the moment you start getting that bread easily from somewhere else, you will stop going to the church because you have made the object of going to church only is to get bread. Oh God, give us today our daily bread. This is our prayer. So the moment the malls came up and the industries were set up and food was very easily available, the churches became empty. The temples also became empty. When this boom happened, where everybody is earning very well and 2-figure salary, women are also working, the whole idea of going to the temples, if the idea of going to the temples was कि हमें धन देना, संपत्ति देना, रोजगार देना, और अगर वो आपको easily मिलना शुरू हो जाएगा, you will stop going, right, to the temple. So that consciousness is wrong. And therefore, such people you will see in our previous generation कि सारी उम्र पूजा पाठ करते हुए भी, when they are old and towards the end of life, they are completely distressed, unhappy, with so many unfulfilled desires. Why? Because although they did have a spiritual life, but most of it was karmakand, or the consciousness behind all of those activities that they did was just to get some paltry gain.
But I remember
But if you are doing the same rituals for developing a relationship with Krishna, with the Supreme Lord, for developing love for him, for serving him for his pleasure, because you are reading his words in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and you start performing these rituals, then the same rituals are, because they are being done with the different consciousness, become Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. And you start seeing tangible differences in your life, tangible changes in your life. Karma Kand may not bring any tangible change. You may still have all those bad habits. You may still be grappling with Kam, Krodh, anger, greed, envy. But when you start practicing Bhakti Yoga, you will start seeing changes in your desires. You will start seeing changes in your the kind of expectations that you have. The prayers, the quality of your prayers will change. You will still be asking for something, but you will be asking for your higher self, something for your higher self. So consciousness is very important. That is why Krishna consciousness, we always talk about Krishna consciousness. The consciousness here is long-term goal, Shreyas, not short-term goal. Oh God, please get my children married. Please get them well settled. May they have good jobs. May they have good spouses. This is prayers. You went to the temple to get some short-term gain. But then you went to the temple for prayers. What is that? Why am I here? Oh Lord, what is the purpose of my life? What is the goal of my life? What am I supposed to be doing here with myself? How do I please you? My master, my father, my eternal mother, how do I please you? Is there something that I can do for you? This is higher consciousness. Both kinds of people are going to the temple. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yavanartha Kuddapane Sarvata Sampulutodake Tavana Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanata. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them.
Here, he's nailed it now. In this verse 46, Krishna has concluded what he's trying to say in these 5-6 verses. The purpose of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. ये सारे वेद लिखे क्यों हैं? इनका conclusion क्या है? इनका purpose क्या है? What is that one goal for which they have? कहीं ना कहीं कोई conclusion तो होगा ना इसका? कि mindlessly we just have to keep on following one karmakand ritual after another. What is the goal? What is the purpose? So all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. And once you know the purpose of all these Vedas, your life becomes successful. No longer are you confused. So, a very nice here. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. It's such a nice example. Even now in India, predominantly India was 90, till now, is a agriculture driven country. और अभी भी I think 90% गांव ही हैं, कम हो गए होंगे भी थोड़े, but still villages are more than cities. And the concept in villages is to have different wells for different kind of activities. So the whole village has demarcated various wells. इस ये जो कुआं है, यहाँ से सिर्फ पीने का पानी लेना है, कपड़े धोने हैं उसके लिए वो वाला कुआं है ना, बर्तन धोने हैं उसके लिए ये वाला कुआं है. So they have demarcated different wells for different kind of activities, and all the people use them, follow this rule and the system so that they don't contaminate all the water and there is still fresh drinking water left. Now, the person who goes to the river can do all of these activities just by going to one river. वो उसका पानी भी पी सकता है, उसमें कपड़े भी धो सकता है, उसमें बर्तन भी धो सकता है, खुद भी नहा सकता है, because the water is flowing, it's not stagnant. So there is no chance of contamination, isn't it? So what Krishna is saying is that one who goes to the river for all his needs does not have to go to different wells. So similarly, one who is Vijnanataha means intelligent, Buddhiman, or is in complete knowledge of the Vedic purpose, he just has to perform Buddhi Yoga for the Lord's pleasure. And if he pleases the Lord, automatically the Lord takes care of all his needs and his desires. And he supplies to him what he lacks and preserves what he has. So the intelligent thing to do is to try and find out the conclusion of all the Vedas and just try, which is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to please the Lord, who has made us, who has also created the Vedas, who has also created this whole world. If you satisfy him and if you please him, automatically you're pleased. But the big difference is the pleasure that you get from practicing this Buddhi Yoga is permanent. However, the Karmakandi rituals, the pleasure or the benefit that you get is very, very temporary. It's not permanent and it cannot save you from the greatest danger. Neither can it save you from the fear of the greatest danger. So Buddhi Yoga satisfies all the purposes behind the Vedas. And then Karmakand becomes unnecessary. So even if you have material desires, it's not that, okay, today we've heard this verse, I'm going to go sleep now. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, all my desires are gone. I just wake up a squeaky clean person. You know, I'm performing Buddhi Yoga. I have no desires left. That's not what we are saying here. Even if you have material desires, but when you start performing Buddhi Yoga, you start getting purified. Purification starts. And do you know what kind of purification? Do you know who is our greatest enemy? Our own desires. Our mind is our greatest enemy. Because this mind relentlessly, from the moment you are born till your death, this mind is relentlessly making you run. Do this for me. I want this. I need this. Give me this. Don't give me that. And you are a slave to your mind and you work the whole life trying to serve this mind. And yet this mind never gets satisfied, even on your deathbed. The list of desires. But when you start performing Buddhi Yoga, then this mind starts getting purified. And then once the purification starts, you will realize that instead of you becoming a slave of your mind becomes your slave. You can control your mind and tell it to do what you want. This is the great difference. And that's why Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga is higher than Karma Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, all other yogas. This is the highest. And it's also the easiest. So instead of taking these stairs, through these various stairs, Karma Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, you just take the elevator to Buddhi Yoga. You surpass all of them. It's quicker, faster, and permanent results. Okay. So I'll just read the last paragraph of this verse. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only, and must not desire to be elevated to Swarglok for a better quality of sense gratification. You know why people want to go to Swarglok? Because the Apsaras there are no rules and regulations. You can just mate or unite with any Apsara without marriage. This is the rule of Swarglok. So when Arjun had gone there, and was it Uttara? Who was that? Uttara was dancing, and then he was looking at her thinking that, oh, I read or I heard that my great grandfather had also become smitten by this Uttara.
Uttara was Abhimanyu's wife.
So some such name. That's why I'm asking you, क्या नाम है? मुझे याद नहीं है.
Menka.
Urvashi. So Urvashi, his grandfather was also attracted to Urvashi, और now अब Arjun आया है. So Urvashi is attracted to him. उसकी age वही है. She is attracted to the grandfather also, and now to the grandson also. This is Swarglok. So there are no, and if Indra calls them also, they will go and please Indra also.
And what about the women? What is Swarglok for ladies?
Yes, same.
Sorry?
Ladies के लिए Swarglok क्या है?
What do you mean, ladies के लिए क्या है?
This Swarglok is for men when they die and go to Swarg.
No, there are no different Swargloks. It's the same Swarglok. You are not going to be a female even after death. You can be any gender, no? Any body.
Okay.
I'm just trying to tell you that people want to go to Swarglok just to enjoy.
Yeah.
Isn't it? There will be a higher quality of enjoyment there. यहाँ तो सिर्फ beer whiskey मिलती है, वहाँ तो सोम रस मिलता है. Even a higher level of intoxication I'm going to enjoy there. You know? Here I have to make do with one wife. There I can, frolic around with apsaras. Higher level of enjoyment. It's just a higher level of enjoyment. That's it.
No.
And then they die too. So again you start crying. पृथ्वी पे भी मुझे मरना पड़ा, यहाँ पे भी मरना पड़ रहा है. यहाँ पे 100 साल की उम्र होगी मैक्स, वहां पे कई हजारों साल की उम्र होती है. बस यही फर्क है. Okay. So people want to go to the heavenly planets for a better quality of sense gratification. Yes, Meena.
मैं बोल रही थी कि जितने भी शास्त्र हैं उसमें स्वर्गलोक के जो एग्जाम्पल हैं वो सिर्फ मेन के दिए हैं. वुमन का एक भी एग्जाम्पल नहीं है कि वो वहां पे गए और क्या किया. जैसे वर्षा बोल रही है ना, सेम.
So what gives you the impression that you are in a womanly body now, so after death you will continue to be a woman? Where is that written?
That is not written, but example में कहीं भी अर्जुन का example है, सारे men के example है, ladies का नहीं है. तो इसलिए मन में आता है के लिए नहीं है, या women सीधा वैकुंठ तक चली जाती हैं.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. What gives you the impression that once you die you will continue being a woman? You can become a male and go to the Swarglok, no?
पर एग्जाम्पल्स में कहीं भी लेडीज का एग्जाम्पल नहीं है कि दे वेंट टू स्वर्गलोक. तभी कई बार कई घरों में सब लोग कहते हैं कि वुमेन डजंट गो टू स्वर्गलोक.
So maybe all those people who have accumulated enough pious acts get a male body. All the women who are eligible to go to Swarglok according to their Karmakandi activities, maybe they get a male body to go and enjoy in the Swarglok. As simple as that. All the women get male bodies to enjoy. That could be one explanation, right? Like in the spiritual world, all are females. There is only one Purush. Actually, the soul, the constitution of the soul or the jiva is female.
Female.
Isn't it? But in Swarglok, they get a male body to enjoy because they're so tired of being female. So they get the male body to enjoy. Anjali would love that. I want to be in control. I want to be in charge.
Absolutely.
I'm fed up of being a woman.
शास्त्र लिखे हैं वो सब मेल ने लिखे हैं, फीमेल ने नहीं लिखे. Isn't it?
No, very good you raised this question. Just a minute, huh?
गर्म पानी देते भर के ना, इधर बताइए.
So you've raised a very good question. Tell me your question again.
कि सारे शास्त्र मेन ने लिखे हैं, वुमेन ने कोई भी शास्त्र ने नहीं लिखा. 18
See.
पुराण सब कुछ जो भी ऐसा वेद व्यास जी ने लिखा. इसके अलावा गुरबानी देखो, आप बाइबल देखो, कुरान देखो, सब मेल ने लिखा है, फीमेल ने नहीं लिखा. नीचे नीचे.
So the spirit soul does not have a gender. So it's wrong to say that Ved Vyas is a male. All these acharyas are above male and female. This is men of a poor fund of knowledge have propagated this myth. Right now, this wave of secularism that is going through the country, that this Hindu religion is very regressive and the women are treated in a very regressive way. This thought has come from there. That Vedo ko manne ki zarurat hi nahi hai because the Veda are written by men, so they are from a male point of view, and therefore females are not given any prominence here. That is actually quite baseless. All these acharyas, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrit and Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu by Rupa Goswami, and all the literatures written by the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, you will realize that all these Goswamis are actually Manjaris in Golok Vrindavan. They're all female. But they have got a male body on this planet Earth for the specific purpose of writing these scriptures. But they are representatives of Lord Krishna, and they are gopis, all of them. So the soul is actually neither male nor female. It's just a jiva, and the identity of the jiva is that a jiva is a servitor of the Supreme Lord. So there's no question of a male point of view or a female point of view. And all these acharyas and the 6 Goswamis, Rup Goswami is actually Rup Manjari. Raghunath Das Goswami is actually Rati Manjari. And when they give up this current body, they again go back to their Swarup Siddhi, as they go back to their female form.